Right, we're just going to do a quick bit of unboxing here. This is a package from Retro Lemon that I've just received. Let's just open this up. Oh, tiny. So this is what we've received. So this is a Spectre AV upgrade for, it's bound for my Atari 800XL. Okay, welcome to TJ Atarian. Got something I want to do with my original Atari 800XL. I use it to make videos. It's my original machine, the machine that I have performed various upgrades in. Really, it's been a bit of a test bed for upgrades, so maybe they haven't quite been installed super neat because, you know, I've done one thing and I've added something else. I think the main issue I've got with this at the moment, apart from it needing a bit of a tidy up inside, which I may or may not do now, the main issue is the stock video. So let's just open this up and start taking a look. I've got to be careful here. Oh yeah, I've already unplugged the keyboard, so we haven't got to worry about that immediately. Let's just place that over there. So have to be very careful with the keyboard connector, it's getting quite old. Okay, let's talk us through what we have inside here and the sort of state I've left it in. It's functional, that's the first thing I'll say, but yeah, it's not perfect. So we have here a Sofia 2 replacement to the GTIA for providing me digital output that provides DVI output via this ribbon cable. That is normally attached in the back of the machine, but the screws are out at the moment. We'll put that back together once we finish working on the machine today. You can see I didn't want it to short, so there's just something just underneath there. Then we have, well, originally a Pokey would have gone in here, but we've got a couple of little things going on. Again, we have a little bit of card on the top to stop it shorting on anything. Right at the top there we have a PokeyMax, so that's providing stereo audio. Underneath there we have an Aki, which is Atari keyboard interface. So off the top of the Aki we have this cable which is providing USB keyboard for when I want to use that and avoid using the stock keyboard. That kind of sits over this hole that I've gouged out here, but it does work once that's connected in there. You can plug USB from the outside. Then coming off of the PokeyMax, off of this cable here, we have audio. That was nicely attached into the back there, but yeah, unfortunately that's come away. I am going to have to refix that, but as far as I'm aware, that's all working absolutely fine. Over here we've got the Ultimate 1 megabyte. That is replacing a couple of chips, the one that normally provides the basic ROM and also the OS ROM, so that's going in via ribbon cables there and there. That's providing both memory upgrade to 1 megabyte, but also the ability to switch ROMs. It provides like a rudimentary BIOS. It has interactions with a side 3 cartridge we can plug in, so it can launch the loader from there, and it allows it to access the PBI BIOS, the parallel bus interface, which makes loading of cartridges and disk images and what have you work better from the side 3. I'm probably not explaining that very well, but yeah, that's the main upgrade in here. So previously I did have a attempt at a graphics mod. I think I did reverse that. So that's what I'm talking about today, because yes, I have digital output coming out of this, but the stock video has been rather poor. You can see there's a lot of blurriness. It seems to be slightly sort of wobbly image. It's not great, is it? And it's watchable. I've done quite a few demonstrations using this capture, but it was noticeably different when I put my Atari 800 together. Even the stock video on that was superior to this. So yeah, there's definitely room for improvement, and that's what we're looking to achieve from the Spectre AV card. And that is what I capture when I'm making videos from this machine, because although it's nice to have a crisp DVI output, you don't actually get some of the sort of original graphics that you would expect to see coming out of this machine. It's kind of too clear. I believe what's called artifacing, is that the right word? Sort of effects where and colour blending, which it kind of works out the stock video. Probably worked even better on a CRT, but you don't really see it on the DVI. So, and ultimately, yeah, that's what I'm capturing from the machine. I want to sort out the stock video. So this brings me to the main event today, because this might be the last upgrade I perform on this machine. Once I sort the stock video out, I'm happy. Now, normally I would investigate putting a UAV in this. I had a UAV from Brewing Academy from the States, which I imported. I use that for my Atari 2600 because that only starts off with RF video output. So that gives me the ability to output a decent image from that. But it's getting quite expensive to import them. So in Europe, there is another option that has become available. This is a Spectre AV modification. My understanding is the installation of this is pretty much almost identical to the UAV, but I haven't actually installed a UAV in an 800XL, so I'm hoping what I can do here is find the appropriate instructions for a UAV, because ultimately I was unable to find specific installation instructions like on a video or anything in detail for this. So hopefully those lines will be the same or similar, and I'll be able to install this and provide a video of me doing it for anyone else. This, I understand, replaces the 4050 chip. Let's have a look here. Is this what we're looking at? Because I see 4050 right there, and the very first thing that I notice here is that chip is not socketed. Okay, and I'm almost positive that is the location. I hope it's going to be this way up. I think it is from what I've seen. Yeah. So I have some desoldering to do, and I'm hoping I actually have an appropriate socket for that. I have no idea. I'm going to have a hunt. So that is a 16-pin socket that I need to locate. So we've got to desolder that, and we're going to put this socket into its place. Okay, so I'm going to apply a bit of pressure. Right, let's heat it up. Okay, let's just concentrate on one side. Okay. No, this is not wanting to move. I thought it was easier removing larger chips than this. This is the most stubborn chip I've ever tried to remove. I'm just saying this for the record. Come out, you. It's really dangerous just ripping it out in a minute. I'm putting something up that shouldn't be coming up, but right, we've got some purchase here. Oh, here it comes. Alright. Now, I do actually need to use this chip, so I do need to be careful with it. I'm taking any pads either. Gotcha. Right, have we got this chip out without damaging it? Yeah, those legs are fine, they just need a little bit of straightening. Nice. Right, okay, now we can do a proper clean-up job. Now we can actually get right down into the holes. Wow, that was not much fun. It's not quite going in on that side. We don't want to force it this time. I need to just heat it because there's a bit of solder in there, possibly. Oh, is it right there? Yep, that's it. Right, that is in. And just do the side joints first. Right, let's get these entirely soldered down. That's probably good. That trace is still there. Good. I was a bit worried about that one. Well, they're nicely soldered in. I think we're okay. Right, we're going to give this a test. We can always come back to it. So let's have a look at this chip. Now these legs might need a little bit of straightening before we try and force it in. Not too bad that side. I think we might get away with this. And the socket, as we push it in, it will kind of position the legs and straighten them as they go in. That's the hope. Okay. So the original 4050 is back in a socket. So the next thing to do is just test that we have normal video working before we try and use the Spectre. But unfortunately, as you can see, we didn't have video output. We had a black screen, but we were seeing output on the DVI. My immediate thought was that I damaged the 4050. If at that point I had tried a spare 4050, which I did find I had later in a socketed machine, I would have found I still had a black screen. We'll come to that later though. We did eventually work out what the problem was. But I went right ahead with the Spectre install. I thought after all I could always reverse anything that I do. In the image you can see I desoldered one end of two inductors on the right there, the L9 and L31, connected to the continuing paths that they went into. An orange cable that goes to the second pin from the left on the Spectre, labelled CVBS, which is composite video, and a red cable that goes to the next pin, the third from the left, which is Luma. The yellow cable for chroma, which goes to the fourth pin on the Spectre, that also on the other side goes directly to pin 4 of the video connector on the Atari. Finally, you'll notice a purple cable on the bottom left of the Spectre, which goes to the coal colour connector. That's going through a handy hole on the board through the back there to pin 21 of the GTIA. We actually didn't use that high profile connector in the end. We soldered that directly to the board off camera because it sat a little bit too high and got in the way of the other cables and the keyboard. Unfortunately, when I connected this up, I still had black video. So at this point I sought some help. I posted on the Atari Age forum and had some rather helpful replies from a variety of people. But the one that really helped the most noticed with their keen eye from the photo that I had actually damaged an inductor to the left of where the 4050 and now the Spectre is there. And in doing so, I'd ultimately prevented power from getting into the video circuit. The good news was, however, that it was possible to actually bypass the inductor because all it's really doing is smoothing the video circuit, and in putting a jump across that and reconnecting up the video to my capture, I did have quite a good output coming from the Spectre. So I was very pleased about this, put in an order for the inductors I needed, And a few days later, this is what happened. Okay, found some time back at the bench to try and move this forward and complete this semi-successful install of a Spectre AV. Now, as you might be able to see, just recapping here, we have this sort of jumping cable going across here, which is making the thing work at the moment. This follows a post I made to Atari Age where after I put the socket in, I was getting no video, and very keen eye of Mr. Flashjazz Cat spotted what the problem was. So let me just show you this. So this was working and video was coming out of this, but if I just remove the Spectre gently here and get that out the way, let's just try and move that out of the way safely there. Right, okay, so what's being jumped? This inductor is slightly cracked, and that was spotted from some very low resolution photos. So there we go, that inductor right there is the problem, and I'm just jumping across it to provide voltage to the video circuit. But that means that what the inductor's doing, smoothing the power, because the same power line is shared for other components, and I believe this is a cause of jail bar effect if I understand correctly. So we're going to want to replace that inductor to see if we can improve the video quality anymore. I took a reference video in this state, so we'll compare that with the state after this. We're going to want to remove these carefully. You see there's quite a lot going on this board. Things are getting in the way. We've got some purchase there. Right, it's split right in half. Get some purchase on it with these pliers. I'll heat it from underneath, at the base of it rather. Okay, the bottom. Oh, blimey, that was interesting. Yeah, it's come straight out. What I said was interesting was all of that wire coming out, which I wondered if I pulled something else off the board, but that was literally inside it. That coiled wire there, it's part of the component. Right, so that's the bottom piece out. This is a bit trickier, I think. And it's out. Right, brilliant. Okay, this is what we've got to replace this with. Right, remember then the orientation was that way round with the silver at the base of that. Still soldering the hole, I'm just seeing if there's enough to make that up and just push that through. I might need to get a bit more out actually. It's not really playing ball like that. Well, it's gone in. So we'll do the other side while we're here. It's in. Right, we just need take that and pull it through. Hopefully that's it. Yeah, that's good. Happy with that. And we're actually getting like continuity through it, which we would expect. It's just been filtered, it is allowing current to flow through it. So there we go, let's chop these off. And hopefully that part is finished. Right there. Nice and neat. And not sitting too proud, so we can just put the Spectre on top. Make sure all the pins are lined up. Yeah, it's okay. Right. How are we looking in general? So that's in place. We can replace this ribbon cable just so we can see everything that's on the board. Right, so what's left to do while I'm here on the bench? There is our USB, which is going to go up somewhere over there. Yeah, we had this problem with the 3.5mm jack falling out, and despite using, it's not the quantity of glue, that didn't help, it still came off, so I need to find a better way of mounting that. But I believe we got a wire loose off of that as well. Yeah, okay, I'm wondering, I think I've got some more of these. I might just have to totally replace it. Let's just pull some of this glue off. Yeah, I might just be ripping that straight off. Okay, let's have a look. Just the problem is knowing where everything is, of course. Right, I'm dismayed to find I can't find my stash of 3.5mm jack connectors, and I have hunted. I know I have some somewhere. It'll be right under my nose, I'm sure. But for the moment, I'm just wondering if I can make best of this. It's not damaged. It's just got a load of glue around it. So if we can hack this off and do a little repair. Right, cool. Let's have a look. I think really before I put that together properly, I need to work out where it's going to go in the case. So let's put this back together. I struggle to get an Atari 800 case board back in the case. I find that between there and the joystick ports, trying to get those three to go in at the same time is tricky. There is a screw to go back in there, but I have that to hand, but I won't do that yet because I'm just resurveying the scene, as it were. Okay, so that will have to go back in there. I think that wiring will sit nicely beneath it. I don't think that's really getting in the way, is it? No, we'll deal with that in a minute. That's fine. After we've soldered the last point back in, this I see what's going on. So yeah, I had it glued to the board, didn't I? But the pressure of going in and out of that has damaged it somewhat, I think. So how are we going to do this better? Can we do this better? I don't know. I think glue is kind of the only way, unfortunately. So that's probably going to be the last thing I deal with. I've got an idea though. Hold on. Something I spotted when I was looking for 3.5mm connections is this sort of elbow joint there. So I'm wondering if I just put that through there, that will kind of hold it in nicely. When I eventually glue it in, I've got something to show how it's going to locate, how it needs to locate for the outside plug to go in. Let's plug this in and do a little test and see what we see. Now at this point I feel I need to interject in post-production. I put my Atari 800 XL back together and the Spectre AV was definitely working because I was seeing output through my capture device. But you may notice I'm perhaps a little bit tentative in evaluating what it's actually looking like, because there were problems that I didn't realise at the time were more related to my video capture than actually what the Spectre was doing. So here we go. So yes, this is composite. What do I think of the video quality? There is a slight blur on it. It's an obvious blur. But what I would say is it's stable. It's not sort of wobbling as I think it was before with the stock video. Let's just get a feel of this. I mean, it looks okay. I would have been absolutely perfectly happy if this was the quality of video I was getting out of an old TV. Of course, back in the day I was using the RF modulator, so it was never even this good. But yeah, there is a blur. It's not perfect. So something I'm noticing there, the blue is very dark and hard to see. I'm not sure if that is the settings on my capture card, but that does look a little bit different to what I think I was experiencing before. We're going to have a little look at something a little bit newer. Yeah, something I'm remembering from a lot of the captures I did before, there was a definite sort of judder, and that image is very stable. If you look at the outline image there, those sort of bubbles, they're rock solid. There's just a little bit of a blur on the composite output, but yeah, you know, I'm happy with that. That's nice for composite. Yeah, anyway, that's that. So shall we do the same ones again? Let's see what S video looks like. I might do this on the fly actually. Let's just see if we see the difference immediately. Okay, so putting out composite. Obviously dying while I'm doing that. And straight in with the S video. Right, can we see more clarity on that? I'm really going to have to do some side-by-sides because that composite image was so good, I'm struggling to see a difference. Yeah, you can sort of see the grain more with the blue background there. Now, that blue is still dark, but that's clearer to me. Yeah, certain colours, there's a little wobble there, isn't there? See that now. I wasn't spotting that so much before. And let's finally have a little look at Yoop. Yeah, that big text is quite crisp and clear. I'm happy with that. So, is that it for this Atari? There's not much else I can really do with it. I mean, there are things like the the VBXL that I could put in it, which enhances the graphics. Oh, there's a hole there. Oh, really? Enhances the graphics beyond what was possible on the original machine. You get, as I understand it, various different graphics modes, 80 column text. But do I want that on this machine? Not really. The objective for this, which is my original Atari XL, is to improve it as much as possible in terms of sound and video so that I can capture content on it. I've also put the ACI interface for the keyboard. I've done all of that stuff now. I'm really pleased. It is the first computer that I ever used, and it is in, you know, wonderful shape after all the things I've done to it. So I think I'm going to leave the case closed for a little bit now and enjoy it a little bit. Every time I open this machine up, I'm scared that I'm going to damage something while I'm working on it, and I did last time. Blew an inductor. Thank you again to EasyCap for spotting that problem. That really got me over a hurdle and allowed me to finish the Spectre upgrade. In fact, even test the Spectre upgrade before I'd replace that inductor. That was a great little tip that I could just jump the power across. So cheers again. Hope this has been interesting. I know it's quite a straightforward install, and I understand it's very similar to how you would install UAV, but there weren't really many videos around about that, so you know, I did have to piece it together a little bit, but we got there. Thank you for watching. If you like my content, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Right then, I thought I was done, but I had a bit of a fiddle around with my recording setup and realised what I was getting through the Nero capture device can be improved upon. Put my EasyCap device back in and, well, take a look at this. Now look at the clarity there. This is S video coming out of the Spectre into an EasyCap USB device. We had some colour bleeding, wobble there. You can see it's not there on. Yeah, look at that. That's a lot clearer. So this is going to be a nightmare to edit all this together, because what I was talking about earlier was well, a little bit biased because I wanted it to look good, but ultimately the composite was looking better than the S-video, and that just wasn't right. But yeah, it's amazing how much difference the capture device has made. Now what it might be is because I noticed on the EasyCap you could select between NTSC and PAL. The Nero doesn't have that setting, so maybe some difference in the video standards and the way it sort of auto detects them is causing a problem. So let's have another look at Pac-Man, because there's nice clean lines on that, and if you've got a problem with your video you really can see the difference. Yeah, very clean. And nice and bright, you can see that blue, which was looking a bit faded on the composite on the previous capture device. Now I might flip back to composite in a little while to see what it looks like through this capture device, but I don't think I'll be using it. This is far superior. Okay, so Pac-Man, you can see what that looks like. And before we had a little go Galaxian, didn't we? Let's have another look at that, so we can compare all of the same games. So I think the moving sprites here, if we had any sort of distortion, wobble, colour bleed, anything like that, you really would be able to see it as they move around. I'm looking over at the DVI output there, which is obviously digital, so pixel perfect, but this just looks warmer to me. This looks far nicer. And we're going to jump into a final look at UMP, so we're comparing all the same software. Now that's the thing I noticed, that line moving across looked slightly offset on the other captures. That was perfectly straight. And everything looks really clear. With that flashing text you were also seeing a bit of a weird effect, and we're not getting that now, so all the text is perfectly clear. Background looks clear. The animated section looks a lot clearer as well. In fact, I must say, better than the DVI output. There's a bit of some sort of shimmer going on that, which is a little bit off-putting. And this looks a lot better on the analog. How strange. But it just goes to prove it's like, of course, this stock video is really what the machine was designed to produce. Sorry, Simius. Great job and all, but yeah, can't just have that in my machine. So, very pleased with that. I'm going to flip back to S-video. I'm not sure how easy this is going to be to do on the fly, because on this capture device it doesn't auto flip like the Nero does. I think my camera has frozen, so I think it has broken. Okay, so we'll flip to the composite and we'll be back with... Okay, so we flip back to composite. Let's have a little look. It's still good, isn't it? Not quite the same, but that is really decent for composite. Okay, bit interesting. I thought Nero was the superior device, and I certainly thought it worked better on my ST, but I'll have to test that again, because I'm certainly going to have this plugged in all the time that I'm using my 8-bit Atari. Well, there we go. Thank you for watching. It's been interesting. I hope it's been interesting. There was my Spectre AV install and test on my Atari 800 XL, and hopefully I think that's the last thing I'm going to do to this machine. It's in very good condition now, really what I wanted it to be. So yeah, I'm done. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and if you like my content, please like and subscribe for more Atari hardware and gaming videos. Take care.